Hi everyone, I'm Ken from Crypto Trading KS. Twice a day, 7 days a week, I share my experience as a full-time crypto trader to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and especially to those you love. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back to our regular community. Everything I do for you is free. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin is currently trading at 34,583, up 5.07%. Ethereum is currently trading at 1982, up 6%. We notice the stable coins USDC, USDT, BUSD, and DAI. Overall, they're registering an outflow into the crypto market because they're red. Each episode, we look at the sentiment of the news from a perspective that we don't know anything about the Bitcoin or crypto markets. Let's read these headlines. Tighter regulation, that's negative. Near-term risks, that's negative. Binance CEO, big reveal, that would be positive because Binance CEO is in the crypto space. Number one emotion I feel about Bitcoin is jealousy, positive. Americans want to be paid in Bitcoin, positive. What's the economic history of El Salvador's adoption of Bitcoin, positive. Bitcoin news to tighten, negative. Futures reach 1 million contracts, positive, showing growth. El Salvador to buy 135 million worth of Bitcoin, absolutely positive. Mexican billionaire says his bank is working to accept Bitcoin, also positive. So we can see 7 positive and 3 negative in terms of sentiment. What we actually tend to find when the markets are positive, the news is positive. When the markets are negative, the news is negative. Just really good to keep in mind. Let's drill down into this Binance CEO, CZ, makes a big reveal. What I would like to draw your attention to is this area. CC says, still worried about Bitcoin going to zero, relax and think it won't. On top of many other reasons, it's now legal tender in a few countries. What could the other reasons be? Let's try and figure those out. I'd like to take you through the KSModel. KSModel is a Bitcoin technical trading model based on institutional price psychology. This is actually a live chart of Bitcoin's price. I would like to take you through these 5 points. The halving. Each halving the halvings are in blue lines here. Each halving has a bull, a bear, and a consolidation phase. Each halving has a peak and a low. The next cycle is always above the previous. What this means? This cycle is below this cycle, this one will be below that one. I'll just take you into the dynamics of highs and lows and just explain the exponential asset class nature of Bitcoin. To start this analysis, point 1, we just go from the actual halving. So the 2012 peak, it's not referring to the year, it's just referring to the actual halving cycle. So the 2012 halving cycle peak was this green line here running along at $1,163. After the rocket hit the moon and the moon said, good on you rocket, go back to Earth and reprogram for the next launch. Thank you, Dinesh. What happens is that it goes down in value, capitulates, and that hammers in the low. The 2012 halving cycle low was $152. Now I want you to say that you had been with this channel and we had invested $10,000 each at that capitulation event, because that's exactly what we would be doing. Now let's go to the next cycle, the 2016 cycle. The 2016 cycle just runs all the way to the next halving, to the 2020 cycle. The 2016 halving cycle peak was $19,666. It's this green line running along here. You can see the price there. When the rocket was rebuilt and took off, it hit the moon says, well done rocket, go back to Earth, get reprogrammed so you can do the next rocket launch. It went down and capitulated at 3,122, which was the 2016 halving cycle low. Now the fascinating thing here is if you had bought $10,000 worth at this capitulation and just managed to sell it at 19,666, not here, but over in this current cycle, the 2020 cycle, the $10,000 would have increased to 1.29 million. That's a fairly good gain over not many years, from 2015 to say anywhere in 2020, 2021. It's a very good return. It would be hard to get that sort of appreciation out of about just any other investment. That's why I say each particular section of the halving has its own unique benefits. And when you get really confident, we will stay together through all of them, not just the bull market, the bear market, and consolidation. There's unparalleled opportunities. Now, going back to the article, CZ said, are you worried about Bitcoin going to zero? Relax and think it won't. CZ understands the mathematics of Bitcoin. 21 million fixed supply of Bitcoins, more and more people racing after that. You notice that from point one, we hammered in that high, we came down to the low, so we hammered in that high here, we came down to the low after capitulation of 152, we went up through passing the high. This is an important point. When we pass that high, the price doesn't come back and violate that green line. It goes up to a new green line, it goes down to another red line, so the green line that it goes up to, 19,666, it came down to the low of 3122, which was above the previous high of 1163. That's why so many times I've said we are so safe, because this property of Bitcoin is coded into its monetary function. It's really important to know that. When people say Bitcoin is going to zero, going to $5,000, I really laugh, because unless we get a black swan event, that's not going to happen. And even if we do, we've had many black swan events happening here. These lightning bolts are all black swan events. Some repair within days, weeks, others take months, but they always repair, and there's nothing we can do to avoid them. So we just hang on if we get one of those. But the likelihood at the moment is not very great. Another thing that CZ knows is that the crypto market is growing faster than the internet. Year-on-year growth is unbelievably big. These are the things that large businesses know. I'd like to quickly discuss a change in format. What I would like to do is keep these updates short for you so that you can understand the market in the minimum amount of time. I'll start to break out special videos between the updates to cover things like G asked for. G would like to look at Theta, T-Fuel, and a couple of others, and I'd love to do that. The other thing, Stephen asked to look at support and resistance lines and how to do that. Marina asked about the KSModel, understanding further about that. I'd love to help out. I think the best way to do it is in an additional video. And that means I'll actually just go through the top 7 cryptos and I will have a video on the other ones. I'd like us to revisit Rule 47, master your edge. There are many edges in the market. You can use Fibonacci, you can use Elliott Wave, you can use patterns, you can use moving averages. There are so many different ways to become profitable consistently. Whatever your way is terrific. Your edge is your artistry. Just think of yourself as an artist. The more styles of painting that you can do, the faster you will master any particular edge, because you will be seeing things from different vantage points, which is a good thing. The most important thing is to just have some edge in the market where you can look and be profitable. Let's have a look at Bitcoin's technical analysis. Last episode, 85, we were just here and we were talking about the fact that we were coming up to a structural resistance line at 34,267. I was explaining that we have a lot of structural support beneath us at 32,414. There was a probability that we would have to make a run at that 34,267 mark. We've done quite well. So basically the price coiled up into a spring and took off. What we can see now is that it's seeking to turn that structural resistance into structural support. It actually hit the $35,000 psychological level and backed off, and we would anticipate it doing that. Resistance is always resistance. It slows or stops or reverses. It's its nature. Bitcoin is currently trading at 34,382. We can see that it has that structural support in play at the moment. A very, very healthy sign. If we draw a line of once resistance but now become support over here, we can see a definite change in that trend. We could also pick up this line from that peak and do the same basic thing, just touching the peaks of those lines. So peak down here, we've seen a clear change in trend. That's very good, and that's a strength. That has strength behind it, that particular move. It's all looking good. We always say the price moves in waves. We're always expecting the price to go up and then come down, to go up and then come down, to go up and then come down. It's the nature of the market. If we look at this price action, we've got a sharp uptick here. That to me looks like shorts have been liquidated. They're being taken out of the market. Let's have a look. Okay, so we see the shorts here in red relative to the longs here in green. We can see the greens are sort of consolidating around here. They're not upticking too much, and the shorts are coming out of the market. Let's check a little bit further. If we look at the total value at the moment, we can see shorts are around the roughly around the $135 million mark. The longs, total contract value, is about $1.746 billion. What that means is the market is very enthusiastic. It sees the price going up. That's why there are so many longs. In the psychological darkness phase, this gets inversed. The reds, the shorts, inverse the longs. It's really important to understand. Let's check out liquidations. We can see that they're actually incredibly light. This is like weekend trade. So 298 million total liquidations and 54,396 traders liquidated. Over the past 12 hours, 74% of liquidations were short, and we can see a lot of shorts got liquidated just recently, which supports what we were thinking in terms of the Bitcoin price movement. I think it's always nice to share comments from our community. I think Maddie had a fantastic quote. Maddie was the one who said, do you think it's time to look for a Porsche again? The sun seems to be shining. Well done, Maddie. Jordan said a terrific thing. In Japanese, Satoshi Nakamoto means root of enlightenment. Pretty neat. Michael was asking for a copy of the KSModel on TradingView. I'm getting that together, Michael. Justin and Anna, and I'm sure many, many other people, and I've seen other comments too. I'm putting that together. I'm just running it through a final auditing phase, so it's as accurate as I can get. Many times I've found that TradingView tends to move things around and it's a little bit naughty, so I just want to make sure everything is as perfect as I can get it. Thank you everyone for making the community such a terrific place. Let's have a look at fear and greed, which I like to call psychological safety, and liquidations. Right now, fear is still extreme at 25. Current reading is 25. We've seen some good positive uptick in the price of Bitcoin recently. That low, that approximate low that we talked about quite a while ago, has pretty much held. I think all institutions are doing now, the big money players are just accumulating, which is exactly what they do when there is extreme fear. I'd like to reshare Rule 85. I know we spoke about this a lot in past episodes, but I think with a lot of new people coming in, it would be useful to discuss. All trading and investing is probabilistic. That means there's always a % chance that things can go one way or another. When you are new to trading or just starting out your journey, trading tends to be emotional rather than mathematical, rather than probabilistic. If you're trading emotionally, you hope, you think, you feel sort of footprints of emotion. You might like to consider not doing that and focusing instead on the probability of something happening. It does take a while to try and figure it out, but as we go through these things, I'll just explain more deeply and more deeply over all of the episodes how to build your skills to trade and invest from a probabilistic stance. I hope this helps. Before tackling the ALTS, we just go through and get a bit of a feel on the market. The top 7, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, Binance Coin, Cardano, DOGE and XRP. Let's look at the 24-hour % gainers. Internet Computer are 40%, XDC, Cell, Comp, One, CRO and FTT. Let's go the other way and see the greatest losses. Cello, Quant, T-Fuel, Neo, H-Bar, Leo and Matic. Let's have a look at the 7-day. Greatest % gainers are Cello, Quant, Clay, VGX, UST, Decred and DAI. Let's go the other way. Greatest losses over the past 7 days, Kusama, Nia, AMP, T-Fuel, Neo, FTM and Rev. I'd like to remind you of Rule 93, which is a very, very profitable rule. Bitcoin's fingerprint impacts every alt, and therefore the total market as well. What does this mean? Bitcoin's fingerprint is the price action, kind of stylized you could say. Like you see an M, you see the W forming here on a slant. Now let's look across the market. If we first go to total market cap, we can see the M, the forming of the W. This is really, really important. As you learn more and more and more, it really helps you to understand how things are actually playing out inside the market. We can see the total market is currently trading at around 1.35 trillion. Let's hop across to Ethereum. Ethereum, currently trading at 1967, has resistance above at 2020 and 2100. It has structural support, which is good strong support, at 1909 and 1855. We have a look at Bitcoin's fingerprint playing out. We see the M and the W. This is quite strong. Ethereum is actually performing quite well. Let's have a look at Binance Coin. Binance Coin, currently trading at 287.07, has support below at 278.17 and structural support below that at 264.75. It's butting up against structural resistance and being rejected at 291.52. The next real major level is 309, but just take note that there's a psychological resistance at $300. We look at Bitcoin's fingerprint, we see the M, we see the W, but you notice how this is slanting down. It shows a little bit of weakness in Binance at the moment. Cardano is currently trading at 132.31. It has support below at 128.48 and a good amount of structural support below at 124.11 and 121.27. It's literally turning the current price into support at its current price. It has resistance above at 140 and resistance above there around the 150 mark, which will be psychological by nature. Just keep that one in mind. If we look at Bitcoin's fingerprint, which impacts all alts, we see the M, we see the W. It's really good for you to keep this in mind all the time when you trade or invest. Let's pop across to Dogecoin. Doge is currently trading at 25,658, has support at 24,892 and resistance at 27,989. The key is this structural resistance here. You can see that Doge is having trouble breaking that at the moment, and that is distorting the fingerprint. So we can see the M, but that M is much stronger in Doge up to its resistance, and then it broke down, and we're seeing that the W is weaker at the moment, mainly because it's hitting structural resistance. As soon as Doge actually turns that into support, it's going to do very well. XRP is currently trading at 64.21, above that structural resistance now turned to structural support at 63.17. It also has support below at 60 cents. There's a resistance above at 65.60 and 67.40. Let's turn to the fingerprint. Bitcoin's fingerprint, we see the M, we see the W. This is showing a degree of strength in XRP. Just pay particular note to this structural resistance up here at above the 72 cent mark. Let's have a look at the seventh of the top 7. DOT is currently trading at 14,955. It's just literally over its support at 14,748. It has a lower level of support at around $14. It has resistance at the 16,441 mark. If you notice this long line here, it was a resistance line, but now DOT is showing strength to get above that resistance. It's almost a kind of structural resistance because it's been touched so many times. It's looking quite good for DOT. It just needs to get over into that fresh air and start its ascent up. And we know that will happen as Bitcoin repairs itself. As part of my personal trading edge, I look at Binance Derivatives. The past 24-hour trading volume is $61.6 billion. 24-hour open interest is around 5.5 billion. 24-hour percent change in price, that's what we're looking at. We want to see anything in double digits. Double digits helps us a lot to identify. LRC is moving. Again, looking at double digits, comp. This can give you an insight, especially if you keep your eye on the relative change between things. Reef, SKL. There's a healthy amount. TRB is looking good. OGN. ICP is doing very well at the moment, and GTC. We always keep our eye on things to understand what's happening inside the engine of crypto. The more cryptos you look at, the better you will be. I do these videos to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. I hope you found the content useful. Please say hi and let me know where you're viewing from, and if you have any questions. Our community is really helpful and supportive and very friendly. I always do my best to respond too. If you would like twice daily updates 7 days a week on price movements in the crypto market, please subscribe to YouTube and follow me on Twitter. Always remember, crypto is volatile. Prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.